then went to cover his daughter's ears, even asked Jesse to take his daughter away. The in-laws also did not care about their son's actions. After the girl finished talking with Jenny, she even advised her to leave this island, but Jenny did not want her daughter to be without a father, and she had also tried to escape, but couldn't, and would even be beaten if caught. Until she no longer wanted to escape. The next day, she found her daughter's underwear in her husband's pants. She couldn't take it anymore. When she entered the room, her daughter was putting on makeup, even saying her father would love her if she did so. At this moment, her husband returned, and Jenny quickly hid the underwear, but she was still beaten. Her husband then kicked her, even threw powder at her, and then threw an empty bottle. She saw her husband touching her daughter's body. Jenny couldn't stand seeing her daughter being harassed. She took an axe and wanted to kill him, but when she looked at her daughter, she stopped. At night, she sat in front of the door. Jesse was packing and wanted to return to Seoul. Jenny begged Jesse to take her and Anne away, or just take Anne, but Jesse didn't believe her. She felt Jenny was lying to her just to go to Seoul. Their conversation was overheard by a mother. The next day, Jesse looked for Anne. She wanted to find out if what Jenny said was true, but was stopped by that woman. They even took Anne away. Jenny could only steal money. Then she went to find the girl from yesterday to take them away. She took her daughter at dawn. It turned out that the captain was her husband's friend. Jenny did not want Odessa to give up. She gave money to the captain. The captain deliberately delayed, waiting for her husband to arrive. They saw her husband and kept pleading for the captain to set sail immediately, but it was in vain. This man very roughly pulled his wife's hair. He pulled it far. After that, he hit her head hard. Several times, his daughter came calling for her mother. The girl followed her, asking for help, but no one listened to her. He kept hitting his wife. The women nearby showed no mercy, instead deliberately provoking anger. It was said that those who want to escape should have their legs cut off. The girl couldn't stand it. Debbie asked him to help her sister-in-law, but he didn't listen, then touched the girl's body and took her away. We can already imagine the consequences for the girl. Her husband still hasn't stopped. He pushed Jenny to the floor, kept hitting her hard, and couldn't bear to see his mother being hit. He kept asking for help, promising to stay with his father, begging his father not to hit anymore. Facing his daughter, he showed no mercy at all. He slapped his daughter until she fell. Then he choked her and lifted her up. Seeing this, Jenny quickly picked up a stone, but was instead pushed by the old mother. Even blaming her, Jenny couldn't take it anymore. She dared to fight back. Can a man hit a woman as he pleases? Her mother-in-law even scolded her because she didn't know who Anne's father was. She should be grateful for being taken care of. Jenny was very desperate. A few years ago, she was raped by many people. Her husband came and kicked her until she fell. He kicked her repeatedly, and she bit her father's leg with all her strength. Her hair was pulled and she was thrown far. Her head hit a rock hard. Her daughter died. Jenny's last hope was gone. She sat on the floor and screamed. The police came to investigate her daughter's death, but the entire community sided with her husband. They pretended to be fine in front of the police. Jenny's last hope could only be entrusted to Jesse. Jesse still didn't care. She said she was sleeping at that time. Because of this, the police couldn't investigate further. Jenny was still forced to work, even though she was grieving the loss of her daughter. The women ignored her and sang. Suddenly, Jenny looked towards the sun. The sunlight could not hurt her eyes. Zani satarida di porvajak. The Natsema Kari walked towards the women and said to them, "The sun has spoken to me." To Jenny, they were all murderers who let her daughter die. She took a sickle and killed the woman closest to her. Blood splattered out. Then she walked towards the others. She stabbed forcefully. There was someone running far, asking for help, Yadil Polipel, and pretended to be dead. Jenny pulled her, but she kept begging. But at this moment, Jenny had gone mad. She killed the third mother, the last one remaining. When she saw the corpse next to Jenny, she immediately ran away. The next day, Jessie noticed that the village had become quiet. She felt strange. Suddenly a pair of hands wanted to touch her. It turned out to be the mother who managed to escape. She was already terrified. Jessie kept asking but got no answer. At this moment, Jenny was already approaching. Jenny slapped Jessie until she fainted, then approached the mother. She ran to the top of the cliff, but Jenny kept approaching her. The mother finally chose to jump off the cliff. The men then went home. They still don't know what happened on the island. As usual, they touched Jenny's body as they pleased. Unexpectedly, Jenny pulled out a sickle knife and placed it on the man's neck. Blood started to flow. The number of people left on this island is getting smaller. The husband and his brother-in-law are going around as usual. They drink water at the edge of the well. As he draws the water, suddenly the brother-in-law stops. They looked up. A severed head was placed on top of a tree. Jessie told them there was danger, but it was too late. Jenny ran closer and randomly slashed, eventually hitting her brother-in-law's arm. Seeing her husband trying to escape, Jenny chased after him. He wanted to kill his daughter's murderer, but he was no match for her husband. Her husband held back the knife, then kicked him down. Jenny was tied up. Her husband pointed the knife at Jessie. Jenny saw the knife, then stuck out her tongue to lick the knife. Then she licked her husband's finger. At this moment, her husband let go of the knife. She licked her husband's finger, then bit it off. She even picked up the knife from the floor and stabbed her husband. This is how her husband died. Jessie chose to help herself again. She took the man and ran. Jenny chased over here. The man was untying the boat. Seeing Jenny getting close, Jessie instead left the man. The man could not avoid his disaster. The boat started to move away. Blood filled the seawater. Finally, only Jessie managed to escape, but she fainted during the journey and was helped by the police. Because she was suspected, the police detained her to question her later. On the other hand, Jenny changed clothes and put on lipstick. He boarded the ship to Seoul. Finally, he arrived at his dream destination. At this moment, he had only one hope, which was to kill Jessie. When Jessie woke up, she saw Jenny beside her. The police officer in front had fainted, and Jessie quickly escaped. She locked herself inside a prison cell. Jenny handed her a small flute, but was shot by the police at the door. She killed the officer with an axe, then opened the door and lay down next to Jessie. She gave the flute to Jessie to blow. Finally, they returned to the past. A week later, Jessie calmly entered the police station. He exposed the killer. Finally, he left the past behind and started a new life. He no longer ran away. In this era full of violence, we often choose to remain silent and not choose to help others. This might also have a negative impact on us.